All right, shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakah Kwadash, Lawalam Yum. Double honors to my apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect, the ones out there who are doing this work diligently and chiefly keeping the faith, making your calling and your election sure. I'm going to get right into it. This is another video here going over a news break. This particular article came up. It says major prisoner swap between Ukraine and Russia. And this is crazy because right after Russia and Ukraine did this prisoner swap, that's when Putin came and bombed them and did an airstrike at the main capital of Ukraine, which is Kyiv. So this was supposed to help, right, bring peace between Ukraine and Russia. But you can see how, Ukraine shouldn't have trusted their enemies. You can see how Esau, Edom stab each other in the back, man. So if they stab each other in the back, what you think they're going to do to you, Jake? They don't give a fuck about you. If they don't care about their own, they don't care about you. And I'm going to read this first part of it, then I'm going to get the precept that I just quoted. It says, major prisoner swap between Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine and Russia have conducted the largest prisoner swap since the 2022 invasion, exchanging hundreds of prisoners with hopes of advancing towards peace, right? That's what Ukraine wanted. Ukraine wanted to advance towards peace when they released Russia prisoners. But Putin had different plans, okay? Because right here you can see Zelensky condemns Russia's large-scale attack on Ukraine. So they released the prisoners, swap prisoners with each other, over hundreds of prisoners. And then right after, I'm talking about immediately after, that's when Putin did that one of the largest airstrikes in history. He did that to Ukraine. Now, let me get this precept real quick. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, and I'm going to start at verse 5. It says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. Right? Verse 6, it says, there is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. Okay? So these people, they're all Edomites. Zelensky is an Edomite. Putin is an Edomite, right? And they're going to war and they're bombing each other, okay? And this precept brings out, if he's evil to himself, you got Putin and Zelensky, they're fighting and they're Edomites, so they're evil to themselves, right? It says, to whom will he be good? So if they're evil to themselves, then Jake, they're gonna destroy you, man. If they hate each other, you think they're gonna love you? That's off. You can't think that way. Esau Edom is the wicked. Okay? Let's get some of these comments here. And then I'm gonna go into the article. It says, Andrea Willis, every time Trump speaks to Putin, his rampage on Ukraine escalates. Trump makes him feel emboldened. The attacks did not escalate until Trump became president. Trump is as much a war criminal as Putin is, not only for giving Putin the go-ahead, but also for erasing all data on the children Putin and his cronies kidnapped from Ukraine. Right? So man, these people are wicked, man. And this person blaming Trump, and Trump didn't even press the button on no nukes, no airstrikes, none of that. See, these people hate Trump, man. All right? And most of these people are the ones that voted him in. Okay? They hate Trump. You know, Trump was already attacking Ukraine way before. I mean, not Trump, Slovakia. Putin was already attacking Ukraine before Trump became president. So this person right here just hate Trump. You know, Putin launched a full-scale attack on Ukraine under Joe Biden's presidency. All right, so what the hell is this person talking about? You know, IMHO reported absolute proof Putin has no intention of having peace. He just needed his troops back to prolong the war. Hey, the scriptures let us know what? Never trust thine enemy. See, Zelensky, Volodymyr Zelensky needed to read, you know, these verses, man. All right, even though he's an Edomite, but the scriptures let us know to what? Never trust thine enemy. So if Zelensky would have read this, you know what I'm saying, he would have known not to trust Russia. You know, you giving you giving Russia part of their military back when you do a prison swap. There should not have been a prison swap, man. There should not have been a prison swap, a prisoner swap. He should have kept those. If you were a true general, you should have kept those dudes and wiped them out. But because now they're gonna be released back to Russia and they're gonna be sent back on you. This is Sirach chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." Okay, so Esau, Edom, they're being wicked to each other, right? Volodymyr Zelensky, he thought by releasing the over 100 prisoners to Russia, he thought that was going to bring peace. But nah, man. Nah, he trusted his enemy and received airstrikes immediately after the release. So Putin, you know, he let Zelensky know that he's not looking for peace. And why would he look for peace? You know, Ukraine tried to petition to join the EU and NATO. That's the enemy of Ukraine. That's the enemy of China. That's the enemy, you know what I'm saying? So that's the enemy of the BRIC nations. And you think you finna be part of NATO and the EU in the backyard of Russia? That's not gonna work. Sirach chapter 12 and verse 11. And this is why, Jay, you should not trust Esau Edom. You seeing how they destroying each other. So a smart man, a smart woman will know that if they're destroying each other, why should I trust in them? If they're going to war, both Edomites, all these Edomites fighting each other, you should know not to trust these Edomites because they will put you to death. If they will put their own to death, what makes you think they wouldn't get rid of you even faster? This is Sirach 12 and 11. Though he humbled himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. All right? These people are wicked, man. Okay? Never trust the wicked. Never trust your enemy. Esau, Edom, they're our enemy. All right? And in this example, Zelensky is the enemy of Putin. Zelensky trusted Putin, thinking he was going to release Russian prisoners to bring about peace, and Putin bombed his ass. You know? These Edomites, man, have no love for each other, so they don't give a damn about you. This is Sirach 12 and 12. It says, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Never let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. You see? So, hey, you got to remember, Jake, these words. Hey, you got 2/3 of our people that are enemies right now. You know? That they got the mindset of Esau Edom. So you can't really, you know, rock with Esau Edom, or you can't rock with 2/3. Because they're your enemy. They will come by you and try to take your seat, try to take the things that you own, right? They're covetous after they're covetous after the things that you worked hard for. They want it easily. You put blood, sweat, and tears, working hours, getting the things that you got, but Jake, wicked ass, want to just take it off you and rob you for it so they don't have to work for it. They just rob you for it, now they got it. See, hey man, It's a lot of wickedness in this world, man. And you can't trust people, man. All right. If they're not in this truth, you can't trust them, man. Even in this truth, you got to be mindful of every brother, man. You know, you got to be mindful. You got to see the actions of people and safeguard your spirit, safeguard your body, safeguard everything from these wicked ass people, man. Verse 13, it says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beast? Right, you playing with the snake, trusting Esau Edom, playing with the snake. You think you're not gonna get bit? You know, every charmer who charms snakes, they end up getting bit, man. All right. Or you go buy wild beasts thinking you trying to play with a lion, and you think you're not gonna get bit, you know? Jake, wow, man. But I digress. This is not a video talking about Jake. This is a video here talking about how Putin released 250 drones and bombs on Kyiv, you know, right after this prison swap. You can see the Russian and Ukraine swap hundreds of prisoners. That's what CBS News reported. Then you see right after, Zelensky condemns Russia's large-scale attack on Ukraine. Oh, man. This idiot right here, Charles Jourdan, this will not happen on Biden's watch. This is proof we have a weak president of the United States, vote Democrat. No, Joe Biden is terrible. All these Edomites are terrible. You know, there's not one Edomite that's good. No, not one. Okay, all of them wicked. All right, let's get into this article right here. Now, this is an article from CBS News. It says, Russia and Ukraine swap hundreds of prisoners as strikes on Kyiv continue. So it was happening simultaneously. Forgive me, Salakia. It didn't happen right after. It was happening simultaneously. Right when Ukraine was releasing the prisoners to Russia, the bombings happened. Salakia. Now, this is right after Trump's phone call to Putin. It says Russia and Ukraine exchanged hundreds more prisoners Saturday as part of a major swap that amounted to a rare moment of cooperation and otherwise failed efforts to reach a ceasefire. No, Putin is not going for a ceasefire. He wants to bring back the former glory of the USSR. And believe it or not, Ukraine was a part of that USSR once before. All right? Ukraine was under the jurisdiction of Russia. All right? And that's what Putin wants. Putin wants Ukraine back. Putin wants Latvia back. All right? And Putin wants Estonia back. It's several land masses that belong to Putin that is now part of the EU, and Putin is mad. And then Ukraine tried to join right with him. You got Estonia, you got Latvia, you know, you got Lithuania, right? Those lands once belonged to Putin, but now they're part of the EU and NATO. And then Ukraine tried to follow suit. Nah, man, that's not happening. Putin is pissed off, man. Donald Trump is not going to be able to talk to Putin and tell Putin to stop this war. Why? Because the Lord is controlling Russia. Ezekiel chapter 38. Nobody cares what Trump got to say. The Lord don't care what Trump got to say. This is going to happen. Why? Because it's prophecy. It says, the exchange came hours after Ukrainian capital Kyiv came under a large-scale Russian drone and a missile attack that left at least 15 people injured. Okay, so Salakia, I gotta get this right. So the exchange came hours after Ukrainian capital Kyiv came under attack. Okay, so The prisoners was released after. So he launched that large scale drone attack and missile attack. And it says right here, it came after the release of the prisoners. Okay, so it says the exchange came hours after the Ukrainian capital Kyiv came under a large-scale Russian drone and a missile attack that left at least 15 people injured. I just did the video about this yesterday. It says, and authorities in Ukraine said Kyiv came under a combined aerial drone and missile attack early Sunday, injuring at least 10 people. Ukrainian's President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russia's defense ministry said each side brought home 307 more soldiers on Saturday, a day after each released a total of 390 combatants and civilians. Further releases expected over the weekend are set to make the swap the largest in more than 3 years of war. We expect more to come tomorrow, Zelensky said Saturday on his official Telegram channel. Russia's defense ministry also said it expected the exchange to be continued, though it did not give the details. In talks held in Istanbul earlier this month, the first time the two sides met face-to-face for peace talks since Russia's 2022 full-scale invasion. Kyiv and Moscow agreed to swap 1,000 prisoners of war and civilian detainees each. So, hey, man, they going to war over there, man. And these two are not the only ones that's going to war. You got Israel going against Gaza, the Gaza Strip. You know, they're going against Iran, really, because Hezbollah is a proxy to Iran, right? They're proxy groups. So Hezbollah is really ran by Iran. All right, so war is happening. It says the news of the prisoner swap came hours after Kyiv came under an attack Saturday that left at least 15 people injured. Local officials said explosions and anti-aircraft fire were heard throughout Kyiv as many sought shelter in subway stations. And that's not going to help. Them nuclear missiles, man, that's not going to help. Hey, nuclear missile fire is coming down in them subways. Over here in America, you think you're going to be able to hide from nuclear missile fire in subways? No. Nah. Everything will be brought down to nothing, to dust. Everything will be burned over here in America, man. It says, matter of fact, I'm going to get a precept just to back up what I said. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 1. It says, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, said the Lord of hosts, that they shall leave them neither root nor branch. So the root is the deepest the tree can go, and the branch is the furthest that it can reach. And the Lord said the entire thing is going to be destroyed. All right, so if you over here in America, the root and the branch will be burned up. All right, and that's everything, man. That's the subways, that's the concentration camps, that's the underground bunkers, that's all the different buildings, that's everything, man, will be leveled, you know? Let's go back to this article real quick. This is Russian attacked Ukraine with 14 ballistic missiles and 250 Shahed drones. Officials said adding the Ukrainian forces shot down 6 missiles and neutralized 245 drones. 1,280 drones were shot down and 117 were thwarted using electronic warfare. The Kyiv City Military Administration said it was one of the biggest combined missile and drone attacks on the capital. A difficult night for us all, or a difficult night for all of us, the administration said in a statement. Early Sunday, Russia launched another set of drone strikes on Kyiv that injured at least 10 people. So it was two attacks. Two on the capital of Kyiv, or the capital of Ukraine. Early Sunday, Russia launched another set of drone strikes on Kyiv that injured at least 10 people, Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, wrote on Telegram while warning residents to remain in bomb shelters. Timur Tokachenko, I don't know if the T silent there, I don't know. Timur Kachenko, head of city's military administration, said 4 people requested medical aid after a 5-story apartment building was struck in the Holosivsky district. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. If not, oh well. District just outside the city center, Reuters said. Kravchenko said more than a dozen enemy drones were in airspace around the capital early Sunday, according to the agent's what is that word? What is that word? Okay. Agency France Presse. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's go back here. So that's a news outlet in France. So according to agency France Presse, new ones are also approaching. Some of the drones over Kyiv and the surrounding area have already been dealt with, but the new ones are still entering the capital, he wrote on Telegram per AFP. So agency France Presse. So that's like a news outlet in France. If I'm not mistaken, that's what I just looked up. Yeah, is a French international news agency headquartered in Paris, France, founded in 1835. Okay. I didn't know that. Continuing on, it says Reuters witnesses hard anti-aircraft units in operation around the city. So Putin's still sending in drones, man. And these drones are deadly. You know, these drones have killed 10, 20 people by themselves, man. The debris of the debris of intercepted missiles and drones from Saturday's attack fell in at least 6 city districts of the Ukrainian capital early Saturday. Acting head of Kyiv military administration Timur Kachenko wrote on Telegram, according to Kachenko, 6 people required medical care after the attack, and 2 fires were sparked in the Solomiansky district of Kyiv. The Obolon district, where a residential building was heavily damaged in the attack, was the hardest hit. There were at least 5 wounded in the area, the administration said. You see? So it goes on and on, man. It goes on and on, man. This article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I believe the point was made, man. You know, you never trust your enemy. Okay, I don't care if it's 2 Edomites. If it's 2 Edomites fighting, you should never trust your enemy. If it's a 2/3 coming in your vicinity, never trust your enemy, because you'll get stabbed in the back, man. All right. Let's get some more comments on here, then I'm gonna wrap it up. Get some more comments on this particular article. Look at this. Sherry Patton. There's nothing that Putin can do about Ukraine joining the NATO because Ukraine has the right to join in. Putin needs to resign from his job as a president and stop lying to Trump. Somehow I've got a bad feeling that Putin is going to keep on with the war and Trump will side with him. Or is he finally going to change his mind and let the military go to Ukraine to help fight against Russia? Man, this is World War III. All right. Putin is not stopping. Ukraine are still petitioning to join NATO. But you think these nations that's within NATO and the EU, you think they don't know about Article 5? They know that once Ukraine joins NATO or the EU, they know that they will have to go to full-fledged war for Ukraine, right? Because that's the Article 5 agreement. You touch one, you touch them all. So that's what Ukraine want. That's what actually the EU want too as well. But you see, Donald Trump don't want that, all right? Because that's going to force America into the war. And before you know it, that's what's going to happen. America is joining this war. Russia is already fighting, releasing drones. America is already really a part of this war. The Ukrainian, they're using Americanized weapons against Russia. When Ukraine fight Russia, the weapons, it says USA on it, made in the USA. You know, Joe Biden gave them millions upon millions of dollars to fight this war against Russia. You know, so really they already a part of this war. Now, American soldiers are gonna get boots on the ground in a minute, right? And that's gonna cause a all-out war, man. These two superpowers, they're nothing to mess with, man. They're nothing to play with. You know, these people, they want this to happen. Hey, we want this to happen to usher in the kingdom. This war got to take place, you know? So she said, I got a bad feeling that Putin is going to keep on with the war. Hey, prophecy ordains that Putin shall continue with the war. Prophecy says that. This person, Karen, it says, time for Ukraine to strike Moscow with all it can, especially the Kremlin. Enough is enough. Putin needs to be stopped now. All right, these are Americans talking, right? You know, and they sided with Ukraine. This person, too well placed slugs. It says, news flash, Trump is having no impact or influence on what's happening in that conflict, obviously. Right. This is prophecy. This is prophecy. Trump can't convince Putin to stop. The Lord got him. Matter of fact, I'm going to end it with this precept, Proverbs 21:1. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, in verse 1. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. When you go into this word heart, in the Hebrew, it means law. Talk about the mind or the innermost thoughts, right? Where the inner thoughts, where, you know, where everything is conjured at. It's talking about your mind, man. So the scripture says in Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So the minds of Donald Trump, the mind of Putin, the mind of Zelensky, all of these kings, their minds is in the hands of the Lord. And he's gathering them to the battle, right? He's gathering them to the battle, man. I believe the point was made. That battle was talking about World War III. Okay, so hopefully this is edifying. I'm going to end it by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakak, Chodash, Lai Yam. Double honors once again to my apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Shalom once again to the elect. Don't let your sins weigh you down. Don't let your iniquities lift up themselves. That's what they want to do. It's our job to repent and keep it moving through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom, Yasharallah. On to the next one.